Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. We're back at it again. As you can tell, we have a peanut gallery or live studio audience. So that's what's up,
Wow.
Caleb. We heard his story in a previous episode, but with me today, I have my younger brother, Michael. So, Mike, welcome to the pod.
Go.
Yeah. Man, we're gonna hear his story. Like I said, every once in a while, we're gonna have people on here to kind of share their story of grace. Kind of what happened to them, what led to their moment of being saved, and then what that looked like for them. Speaking of moments, you've been doing some thinking about moments recently.
It's true.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. Maybe if that ties into something. But anyway, what was your life like? What did you believe before you began to realize that maybe you're missing something?
I mean, it's a good question. Because I always believed that Jesus was died for my sin and stuff, because raised in a Christian home.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess my belief was more centered around what other people thought, in the sense that I believed it, but I didn't believe it because I believed it for myself, more so because they just told me to. And I was like, okay. I don't know if that makes sense. Kind of like you're told to clean your room and you do it, but you don't do it because you honestly think it needs to be done. You do it because you're afraid of the consequences of not doing it and because your parents told you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you don't actually know the significance of being older now, it's pretty nice to have a non-cluttered room, and there's advantages and stuff, and it's actually healthy and helpful, and something like that where it's drink your green juice because it's healthy. I didn't think it was healthy, but I did it because I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't actually think that there was a good reason to for myself. I didn't understand it personally. I was just like, well, they said this, so therefore I guess I'm just going to do it because of what they said. I didn't.
So it was kind of like a blind fault. You believed in God, you believed this is all real, but when it came to why you should do what you should do, you didn't really know. You just kind of followed blindly.
Yeah, I heard I was a sinner from people, but I didn't really understand even what my own sin was. I don't think, now looking back on it, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm a sinner. I guess I have sin. Great. And if I just say these magical words, then everything goes away and I get to go be with Jesus. So it was kind of like, okay.
So looking back, that's how you see it. In the moment, how do you think you would have said it?
In that moment, because I was like 3, so I was just heard that about hell and was like, oh, it's a scary place, I don't want to go there. And apparently if I pray this the certain way, because I do remember that very distinctly, as I was really concerned about the words I use, because I thought that I had to pray the exact words that I heard some probably preacher say from a message that I heard, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
so throughout, okay, so 3, I don't remember anything when I was 3. Yes. I don't think. Or if I do, I couldn't tell you I was 3. So that's interesting. So since 3, then kind of leading up to the moment in high school, how would you have worded? Because 2020 hindsight, right? In hindsight, you would have said that, yeah, I'm just following the rules because that's what I'm supposed to do, but I don't understand why the rules exist, or I don't even think they're really good. I just know I'm supposed to do them. How would you have described that quality of your life? What was that like?
What was life like? I mean, it was, I don't know, it was kind of boring, I guess, to an extent. I just did, because I was, I guess, a rule follower growing up, very strictly, but it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't really great because I didn't want to follow the rules, and I guess I did them, and I was very clean in my language and everything. And it was just kind of, it got to the point where it was kind of really hard and really exhausting to do, because it's just I don't want to do this. This is not easy for me to do, but I'm supposed to do it just cause. So I'm just going to do it. I guess that was a phrase I heard a lot growing up when I'd ask a question, it wouldn't get answered. It would just be like, well, you should do this just because, and we'll tell you when you're older. And then that never actually happens. So yeah, I was just doing it just because, and so it helped.
People would probably say that as a way to get out of explaining it in the moment.
Yeah,
we'll just explain it later. Yeah, cool. So what kind of made you realize that something was missing?
So I guess
Because you're a rule keeper. You probably take some pride in that. You're not. I mean, I know where we came from. I mean, some. I guess some of the family got into some stuff, but we didn't really get into anything. You didn't really get into any worldly things, at least on the surface. So what?
for a little bit.
Yeah. What made you? Okay. Yeah. So what made you realize you were missing something?
Yeah. So I guess I would say I was like probably really prideful actually about like being a rule follower then. And so what it took was actually me getting into an actual like sin and an addiction to, I would guess it was pornography. And I guess it was that because I'm a rule follower, right? Like I can't see anything that I'm doing that's wrong. So it's kind of like I'm better than these people if I compare myself to them. And then once you get involved with something like that, and it's just kind of like you're doing it and you know you shouldn't be, and it's wrong, but it's like, but I'm basically good everywhere else, right? So I should still be fine. And that just kept getting worse. But I kept justifying it like I'm good everywhere else, and it's just this thing. And then even in that too, like I would, because I didn't read my Bible for myself too. That was another thing about in hindsight. I wasn't doing anything like genuinely, like my prayers were a lot of like asking for stuff and otherwise, and God, please save me from this sin that I'm doing that I'm actually going to go to right after praying this prayer. And yeah, I didn't really have any real relationship or any real fruit in my life. But I was just doing all the rules except for in that area in my life. So it was kind of like, as that kept getting worse and I realized I couldn't stop doing this, and it got kind of annoying at a time. And then I guess it was 2022 or yeah, that summer. And it was just things got to a really bad state to where like, because I was a very quiet person too, and I kept to myself, and that led to me just like secluding myself from people and things a lot. And so I'd either be listening to books or playing with Legos or watching stuff I shouldn't be. And that was my life basically. And I'd go to somewhere like camp and life would be really great. And I think that's what initially showed me that I was missing something. Because when I'd go there, like I could do the right thing, and it was actually enjoyable to do what's right when I was at places like camp or a conference. And the friends I had there and the people I saw, they seemed to really enjoy reading the Bible. And when they talked about it like it actually meant something, and they actually understood it. And I was just like, it's a bunch of words on a page to me. And so that was an area. And I guess I didn't really think too deeply on it until a little bit later. And it was just kind of a fleeting thought that I remember, like, is it possible that I'm one of those people who's actually like missing something and that they have something that I don't? And then I kind of just dismissed it and moved on. But that was kind of how it started, because just seeing the relationship that other people had with God to the degree that I could, in terms of like them reading his word and understanding it, and like them actually seeming to enjoy having a life where they were doing what they were supposed to. Like, obviously nobody's perfect, but like, because to me, I was following the rules and it was not enjoyable. And I had this sin in my life that I was struggling with, that I couldn't follow the rules in. And when I look at their lives, it's like they actually doing the right thing isn't just something that they're doing to do. It's something that they're doing and they actually enjoy it. Like there's something good about that.
So, so then where did everything kind of come to a head? What was kind of your moment, if you will? Not that it's about the moment, but like when did things change?
Yeah. It was at a fall retreat at Storybook. I don't know. I guess life had just been really sucky to that point. That whole year, there was a lot of stuff that happened, just like little things. But like, I found a lot of joy in other things. Like hunting was a thing I really liked, and so I would just like, as I grew older and I could do that more, I would just like do that a lot. And I guess that would be idols in my life, like things like that I enjoyed. And then I would just spend as much time on anything that I liked as I could, good and bad in some cases. But yeah. And then when those things kind of fell away, like things would happen to where I wouldn't be able to do them, I'd be kind of disappointed. And I was like, this actually didn't, it wasn't what I thought it was. And like, now it's gone. And what am I going to do with all this? And like, now I'm really sad because that's not there. But yeah, it was just kind of like stuff in my life wasn't going the way I thought I wanted it to, and I couldn't control it. And that annoyed me. So I just went up there, and like, I don't really know what happened at camp. I just remember I was like super depressed all weekend, and then I came home. And then I was watching stuff. I think that Monday night, and then it just hit me that this is really wrong, and that I can't stop this. And so I was just really bummed about that. And that's to where I just came to the point where it was like God showed me like a snapshot of my heart, I guess, and I just realized, this is what I want. Like, I can't stop doing this, and like because of that, it means that I just kind of suddenly understood that it's my heart that's messed up. Even the good things that I did, like every motive I could think of behind a good thing that I did is bad too. Like my motives, my reasons for doing something is bad. And if God's looking at my heart, and I'd always heard a lot of, because there's a lot of language about camp, where head to heart and that sort of thing. And if God's looking at my heart, I guess I realized, and my heart is like always evil. And I hadn't read that verse in Jeremiah yet where it says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. But I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm cooked. Like, I can't do anything to save myself now. Like, I can't stop this. And even if I do something good, it's for the wrong reasons. And so I was just like, I'd heard the gospel, but I couldn't remember it. And that was kind of troubling to me. And so I guess I thought, like, do I even know what the gospel is? And so I just prayed that night, and I was like, God, could you like show me how I can be saved? And then, I don't know, I just went to sleep right after that, kind of immediately. Yeah. And then the next day, I was just kind of, it was interesting because I was like almost expecting that prayer to be answered. And so I was like,
just kind of waiting.
Yeah, waiting. I was going to get off my phone. I walked my dog. I was trying to do stuff like to take me away from the things that I had normally been doing. And then you invited me to Common Ground. And I guess it was like a Wednesday night thing. And, or maybe it was Tuesday night at that point. But anyway, it was the next day, and it was at that you invited me to go to that. It was kind of like a Bible study. But you were going to share your testimony. And I didn't know that at the time, but I was kind of like, oh, sure. Like, cause I normally wouldn't go to things. Like, I hated being around people. I was a very secluded person, but like, sure, I'll go. Maybe I'll learn how to be saved. So I did. And then you shared your testimony. I guess the only part that I remember distinctly is you got to the point where you're talking about John 5:24 and about like hearing and believing. And I realized that like, well, whoever hears Jesus' word and believes in him, he says those people are saved, and I'm one of those people. And then it just kind of like really simple, but it brought a lot of joy. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's it. Like, it's not by anything I do. It's him. And I was just, I don't know, I was really happy, but like nothing super profound other than it was just like, I understood it, and it was like true, and that truth was good. And I just held on to that.
So when you say he says, you're not talking about me, you're talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
In verse 24.
Whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life.
Yeah. And do you realize that he's looking for people that hear and believe? And those are the people that he gives life to. A verse earlier, I think, is the Father, just as the Father raises the dead and gives life to whom he's pleased to give, or to whom he wants, so also the Son gives life to whom he's pleased to give.
Yeah.
And so, which I think I share. I mean, I say pretty much the same thing everywhere I go. And those are kind of the two verses that I'll share with. I shared it with somebody like last weekend. But yeah, so it's that verse about Jesus giving life to whom he pleased to give. That's, you are at that point going into the evening. Like, I want life, and I know you can give it. Who do you give it to?
Yeah.
And you kind of understood that he gives it to those who hear and believe. And you're like, well, okay, I do that. That's me. Yeah. That's really, really good. So what, so if you could briefly describe what life has been like living since then, what has changed, or how has your life changed?
Yeah. I mean, Well, I never read my Bible before I was saved. And so that's something that almost immediately changed. Like, I think I talked to you and you were like, Galatians is a good book. You should read it. And so I was like, okay, I was super excited. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember exactly which chapter, but there was a part, maybe it was chapter 1, where Paul is talking about the gospel and the truth of the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like reading that, and it actually like made sense to me somehow. And it actually like connected. And it was like, wait, this is actually relevant. Like, and that was the first thing I noticed, is that when I would read places in scripture, specifically where the gospel was shared at that time, like it would just make sense to me now. And it meant something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that's changed in terms of reading and understanding the Bible, which I do now. And that wasn't a thing before. And then obviously, like, my life, I guess doing the right thing wasn't a chore anymore. It was actually very enjoyable. And I still had struggles and stuff, obviously, and consequences of my former life. But that's something that changed, as I was like, my first summer fully like counseling at camp, something I really enjoyed now was like the jobs like that nobody liked to do. I liked those. That was another thing that I noticed that changed, like mopping the floor in the dining hall or like washing pots and pans. Like I found a lot of joy in that. And it was just like, most people don't like to do those things, but it was just kind of like very fun to me for some reason. And so that's something that changed in terms of like doing the right things. And that actually just was kind of fun to do. And the reasons for doing them wouldn't be for me anymore. It was kind of, I don't know, they changed, and that was a noticeable thing. And relationships with other people too, because I was not a people person before then, but I just started connecting with people and building relationships with others. I got a group of friends, which is something I had never had in my life before then. I actually like started talking to people. And I wasn't a big talker either. So those are things that have just changed in my life, is actually building relationships with other people who know and love Jesus. And then actually reading his word, and like fruit in my life. Actually praying, but not selfishly anymore too, was a thing. And then the biggest change would be recently in terms of my struggle with pornography. And that's kind of like, I don't know, I haven't been back to those sites or anything since what recently happened, which is because I'm thinking about this, and we touched on it a little earlier, and that's like moments, which is something I've been thinking about. And like just realizing that it's not moments that save you. Like someone could hear this testimony and be like, you know, he had a super cool moment where he understood things. And if I could just have a moment where I understand what the Bible says, it's like, well, I understood what Jesus said, and it was like, it was Jesus who saved me. Like he went on the cross, he died for me. And just realizing that it's not moments that bring change, but it's Jesus who brings the change. And then the moments, they would follow that, but they're a result of his work and not the work itself.
And like moments are a space for Jesus to work in. Like it is kind of an interesting topic, because people do hear, you know, I didn't have a moment. Some of my friends say that, well, I didn't have a moment like you or like these other people. I just feel like they had a moment. And you're right, it's not about the moment. It's about Jesus doing something. And a moment is a time stamp. Like a moment is a clip of time. And so a clip of time doesn't change your life, but something happens in that clip of time.
Yeah.
And so Jesus saved you
up to that time.
Yeah. Jesus saved you. In a moment you understood the gospel. It wasn't about the moment, it was about the gospel. In your, struggle with pornography, it's not about a time frame. It's what happens in that time frame. Yeah. So that's really good.
Yeah. And I guess something else would be that the change wasn't like all at once in a moment. It was actually rather gradual. And that's something I've thought about recently too. There's a proverb that talks about whoever, what is it? Anyway, it talks about wealth gained hastily, and it's like wealth gained hastily will dwindle, and whoever gathers little by little will increase it, though. And so it's this idea of gaining something all at once doesn't ever seem to last. Like with money, but also I guess when you're cramming for a test, if someone's ever done that, it's like you spend the whole night studying and all that information, then it's just kind of gone the next day and it didn't do anything. But over time, if you build on something, that's what actually helps.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't want to cut you off, but it looks like
these
our camera is about to die because we're about to run out of battery. We can come back and talk about moments another time, but thanks for coming and sharing your story of grace. Hopefully that can be helpful for you guys. I know it will be for some of you. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.